first video of Nothing Beats Good Eats. I'm Dom Sestero.
My name is Joshua Chin.
And on this channel, we're going to be cooking relatively fast, relatively healthy, really simple meals that you yourself can prepare using simple, inexpensive ingredients that you can find at your local grocery store.
The idea is that modern cooking has become so gate-kept behind machinery and high-quality, high-priced ingredients. So we just wanted to show y'all that you can still cook while still maintaining a low and sustainable budget.
Absolutely. So today, we're going to be preparing a very simple chicken and sausage fettuccine Alfredo. So up first, Robbie, come over here. We're going to walk you through the ingredients.
Do a little preparation or
little prep work. So obviously your main ingredients, we will, because this is a simple and easy to make food channel, we are going to be using pre-prepared pasta. But hopefully in the future we will do a homemade pasta tutorial. So main ingredients, we got your fettuccine pasta. We have cubed chicken breast. The reason, again, that we're using chicken breast is it is slightly less expensive than chicken thighs and it is significantly healthier. We're using a nice smoked venison sausage, but any, partial pork, partial beef sausage will work just fine. Robert, come over here. We have about a dozen garlic cloves, finely hand chopped. We have, this is a half onion. We're going to use this later. We have fresh Italian parsley, heavy whipping cream, and then these are our seasonings for the chicken. You have black pepper, paprika, rosemary, oregano, garlic powder, olive oil just to kind of bind it all together, and then of course your kosher salt to taste. The sherry cooking wine will be used in the Alfredo sauce. You have your, once again, I do prefer to grate my cheese directly from the block, but this is less expensive to have your cheese already in the bag, and we are going for inexpensive meals, so there you go.
All right, so first we're going to prepare our venison sausage. So just a little bit of olive oil in our hot pan. And then just start throwing in your sausage. Make sure when you hear that, it means your pan is a little too high, so you want to adjust accordingly. Just start throwing the sausage in. Again, super low-key, chill, nothing much to it. Of course, adjust to preference. Just work around, make sure all the sausages are evenly heated, and let that sit till they develop some color on them. All right, so now the sausage has developed some color. We're just trying to toss it to make sure it's all evenly cooked, and just developing some nice flavors.
So now that we've got our sausage fully cooked, next we're going to go in with our beautifully seasoned chicken. The idea here is we're not using separate dishes. One, because it creates unnecessary dishes to clean, and two, I like to keep all the flavors from the things that we've previously cooked in the same pan. The flavors therefore combine, and this is going to be the same dish that we end up cooking our sauce in, tossing with our noodles, so all those flavors will just remain there and meld, and it's going to be awesome. So let's go in with our chicken. Immediately we hear that great sizzle. If you don't hear a sizzle when you put any sort of meat in a frying pan or on a grill, your grill or your pan is not hot enough. So I'm just going to stir it around. I'm going to use this oven mitt, kind of grab the side so I can manipulate it a little bit better. We're just going to get it nice and flattened out. I'm looking for just a nice layer of chicken so that we can get one side on every piece of chicken cooked at a time before we sort of toss it about. And I'm going to wait, and we're just going to wait here until the chicken is almost totally cooked through. You can use a thermometer. The proper temperature when cooking chicken is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. There is no such thing as medium rare chicken. That's only for steaks. But yeah, chicken and any sort of pork as well. You want to cook it to that exact temperature to avoid any food poisoning complications. So as you can see, some of the pieces are starting to develop a good amount of color. So we're just going to move them around so that each side can get that great color. And in a few minutes, we will either, you're welcome to use a meat thermometer if you're not confident, or until you feel like your chicken is fully cooked. That's the appropriate time to pull it off of the
Now
pan.
we're doing my favorite part, the aromatics. So that's your garlic, your onions. So we're using the same pan as we did the chicken. Just took it out, letting it heat in the oven. Now I'm just gonna hear that nice sizzle. It's about to start smelling real good in here. Just take your onions. The reason we're doing the onion first rather than the garlic is because we chop the garlic more finely, meaning that the bits are smaller, and so it'll burn more quickly, meaning that we want to give it a little less time than the onions to cook. So we have the onions in there, going with our chopped garlic. Use our spatula, mix it around a little bit, wait for that to get a nice color, and then we'll start making our sauce.
So for this next part, we're working on our sauce. So once our vegetables are nice and translucent, meaning that you can kind of see through them a little bit, meaning that they've cooked almost thoroughly. They're nice and fragrant. That garlic smell is incredible. I've gone in with a little bit of our sherry cooking wine. That's a basic ingredient for any sort of pasta sauce or any sort of reduction that you might be working with. And we're just gonna let this sherry cook down the slightest bit. It's already cooked down a lot. So now I'm gonna go in with our first little bottle of heavy cream. And this will create that nice creamy, thick texture. You wanna, once you pour it in, you wanna be constantly stirring so that it doesn't like sort of set or become solid. Keep it moving all the time. And we're gonna let that mix in, give it some nice color as it continues to cook. So we should have done this earlier. Big mistake, don't do what we did. Basically, before you even start your sauce, you want to start your pasta because it will take about 15 minutes to cook. So we have a pot of water. It's bringing up to a nice boil. So we're gonna go in with our pasta. And then also very important, where I put it, here it is. You always salt your pasta water, nice and salty. I'm gonna go with a good amount of salt. Never break your pasta noodles. So yeah, that'll go for about 15 to 17 minutes. So our beautiful fettuccine pasta is now cooked al dente, which means like it still has like a little bit of give. Like if you were to break it, it's not like totally just like mush, which is what you're looking for. An important thing to remember, you always want to scoop a little bit of your pasta water. So this is my second scoop. I recommend for this amount of sauce, do 2 scoops of your pasta water. You're just gonna use a spoon or a ladle, get that in there and incorporate some nice salt, some nice flavor. It also helps with the consistency so the sauce itself doesn't get too thick. And now we're gonna strain our pasta, then we'll finish out our sauce.
All right, so now for the best part of a fettuccine Alfredo sauce, the cheese. So we're just gonna really slowly start mixing the cheese in there. We're gonna grab it a little more. And while you're doing this, make sure to stir, just so nothing builds up or burns at the bottom of your pan. And we'll be using this whole thing. Probably go a little faster. So just stir as you go in. You don't want to do it all at once because then the cheese starts to stick together and you start to get more of a fettuccine Alfredo paste instead of a sauce. So we're going to start mixing that cheese in together. And while this is happening, cheese is just going to start melting down and incorporating with the rest of the cream, making a really nice and thick sauce. All right, so our sauce is reduced enough, mixed in well with all the meat. So we're gonna start putting in the pasta. I'm gonna bring it a little closer so we reduce spillage, just a little bit at a time so that it's all got some room and some real estate. All right. So we just finished cooking our fettuccine Alfredo as part of our first official cook for the YouTube video of Nothing Beats Good Eats. We're sitting here with our pasta and our Italian soda. So cheers. Oh, that's good. Really good. So we're gonna be reviewing our own food.
First bite,
Yep.
first reactions. Let's go.
Wow. Good. The pasta's cooked really well. Sauce was rendered nicely. You can really taste that chicken. Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, it's a total success. I'll talk a little bit more about each of the ingredients. Chicken was super tender and very juicy. And I'm gonna attribute that to the fact that we left it just a little bit raw. Not raw, just not totally cooked all the way while we were focused mainly on just color while it was in the pan by itself. And then because we knew ahead of time that when we put it back in the sauce, it would continue to cook a little bit more because the sauce was being heated along with everything else in that pan. So by the time that it was combined with the sausage and the parsley and the noodles, the chicken was cooked all the way through perfectly, and it maintained, you know, its juiciness and its tenderness very well. I mean, the sausage, you know, if you've ever had a smoked sausage, I mean, we use venison sausage, but again, you know, I think you can get that same smoky quality and very rich, tender taste and texture from any pork or beef sausage. It just adds a whole other layer. I mean, usually at a restaurant, you get your chicken fettuccine Alfredo or your shrimp fettuccine Alfredo, but I mean, this sausage, it just adds a whole different level. Very smoky, a lot of flavor, combines well with the sauce, I believe, and yeah, I mean, overall, really amazing dish. 35-ish minute cook, super easy, super quick to just throw together, whether you're just dining in for the night or having someone over. Just a nice dish. So thank you for tuning in to the first self-review.